Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
The Lodgecast Experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Strap on your glittery boots. It's time for the Vox Lux hot take, y'all.
Vox Lux.
Vox Lux.
Vox.
Natalie Portman in Vox Lux.
Vox Lux.
I am your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki
Oi.
and Brother Lucas.
Howdy.
And in the back, we got Brother Nathan on this
Good
one.
to be here.
Now, we went to a special screening of this.
Full disclosure.
Very special.
Very special.
VIP.
AMC 15 Century City.
Century City. And
Westfield Mall
there,
2.0.
There was what we thought was a Q&A, but it was just a moderated discussion with Ms. Portman herself.
Portman
in person.
Now, Bishki, is it safe to say that you're the biggest Portman fan in this car? I would think so.
Now you like her, right?
I like her.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm not wild.
I mean, she's
I'm not wild
Padme.
about
She's
her.
Padme. I love
Now,
her.
man.
I want to get into this because I know a few people that are just gaga for Portman and have been for the longest time. Is it Padme that did it? Like, what was the inciting incident? Was it Leon the Professional? Like, when did you take notice?
It's grown over time, but I'd say Black Swan.
That's
and-
late. Like,
Yeah, no, I
Like
haven't-
Beautiful Girls. I mean, there was some roles. Professional is her big splash when she's a young girl with Leon the Professional.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
classic movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I might be like more late into it because I also like Annihilation, which we'll talk about in
Oh,
our
God.
year
I like
end.
Annihilation
God.
too.
Yeah, we're
Backseat,
gonna talk
you
about it.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
we gotta
let's
do a
talk. Let's
cast
talk
vote.
Vox Lux. So, according to the trailer and what I think is a great poster and great marketing material, what are you led to believe? That it's going to be Portman just in Lady Gaga pop star mode, kind of maybe a behind the scenes skewering of the vapid, pop lifestyle? Is that
That's
safe to
accurate.
say?
Yeah, that's what the trailer looks like. That's what I thought, for sure.
So
Why didn't it go there?
So we begin with a very graphic school shooting
when she's younger.
when she's younger. And
Yeah.
it's a flashback to her early teen. And this is one of those movies that has a prologue, chapter 1, and different. It's broken up into
Some flowery
chapters.
titles.
It's very literary.
Yeah, and I kind of thought we were in trouble when he does the credits.
The credits.
The end credits at the opening.
The end credits at the opening over her bleeding out in the ambulance, and I'm just like, ugh.
Very pretentious.
It
It's
was
very arty farty.
Well, it's a clash because you see her face and then you see, Best Boy was, Steven.
Yeah.
Best Boy too. Oh, Stephanie.
I was on high alert at that point.
Same.
High alert.
Same.
I'm all for
like,
I'm all for a little experimentation.
Sure,
though, right?
sure,
We
sure.
don't want to just have the same bullshit every time.
Same, but there was something just very.
I think people will understand. They see it. It's such a bizarre thing to do because it was.
I don't know.
It was
I didn't
big
sit
up
well
there.
with me.
It was on probation for me at that point. I'm
Same.
like, let's see where you go. Let's see where you go.
like,
You put him outside. You
Yeah.
put him
I was
outside.
like,
right?
But
okay, here we go.
I think my issue with the early going, where she's portrayed as a younger actress, is I think this actress is British, and they are trying to put her into a Staten Island accent. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
her
I think
accent
I think something got lost in translation because this performance was just one of the weirdest stilted performances I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it's Raffey Cassidy. She was in The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and she does the kind of deadpan that
Is
she
that
does.
her thing?
Yeah, that's kind of her thing. Like, she does this kind of deadpan reading.
Low affect.
Low affect, yeah.
She seemed almost like Amish or special needs Amish. Like that's how I read her. But everybody in the movie is like, she is savvy for her age. Like she is cold and calculating. I
Yeah.
didn't get that at all.
No, yeah, she doesn't have much charisma. Like,
There's nothing.
No, it was a bait and switch because it's shot and edited and paced at such a deliberate manner that there is no Natalie Portman for like almost an hour.
Oh,
I want to
yeah,
say
like,
like
it felt like over an hour.
like half the movie at least. And I remember thinking like, I'm not in with this. Like this was not what I signed up for.
And like we just watch her dance practice for like 5 minutes
in real time, there's a lot of real time.
You see her
shoot
fail,
other-
you see her struggle. But you should say in the shooting, she took a bullet. You
Right.
know, like her origin. There's an origin there. There's another layer.
Sure.
Almost like Black Swan, though. You know?
Yeah.
Being,
You know what I mean?
being
That
narrated
echoes
by
Black
Willem
Swan.
Dafoe, which
That's
is
another
just
interesting
so
thing,
random
which
and distracting.
You got
The
those
tone-
credits running over the thing, and you got William Dafoe. Yeah.
with the tone of Willem Dafoe is initially kind of like snarky, you know, where he's like,
Well, I thought like Wes Anderson.
he's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Where it's
crazy
like,
when
this
he
is
thought-
back. This is back when she really cared, when she still wrote her own material, and it's like, oh, is this a snarky VO? But then you get that school shooting, and you're like, oh, this is very heavy.
Yeah.
What's up with the snarky VO? And then he loses the snark, and he's serious, and he's intermittent. Like
Dead serious
I
sometimes.
just
yeah.
don't really understand the reasoning behind the Dafoe voiceover.
But
But
from what I read, it was last minute. Like they had another voiceover, and then they're like, "Let's get Defoe," and then Anyway,
I don't.
Well, it's hard to skim over like the origin, the younger version of Natalie's. Like that's the bulk of the film. It's kind of
Yeah.
her film because
Yeah.
we also mentioned that actress Raffey, she plays another role in the older timeline as well,
Yes. There's-
echoing like her child.
She plays her own daughter.
Which is smart to do, but it's also very distracting.
Yeah.
I was just going by the ages to know what timeline we were in, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden we see her come down, and the sister looks exactly the same.
And the whole thrust of the movie is there's the school shooting. 9/11 is kind of ham-fistedly mentioned, which I guess is for the best, because like if we go into a big 9/11 section, it's like, really, what are we watching here?
yeah.
And then there's a
after the
shooting.
opener,
There's
yeah.
a shooting on a beach.
And there's another horrible mass shooting on a
Yes,
beach. Yeah.
where they're wearing some of her
Kind of like Gaga mirror masks.
Mirror masks.
With shirtless guy.
and
Story.
the brunt of the second half of the movie is just how she and her PR team are dealing with that.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, I don't know what people expect. The movie's called Vox Lux, a 21st century portrait, which should set you off on the pretension meter. Like, you should kind of know that, oh, this isn't going to be like, even if it's a descent into madness or whatever, it's not going to be a fun Black Swan style skewering of pop stardom.
Yeah.
It's got something else in its mind. And it might just be my taste, but I wanted to fucking leave.
Yeah.
You were really feeling that.
I loathed. I loathed it.
I did too. I was not in. It just felt like so pretentious.
I was ready. Like
Yeah.
I think I would have walked out had there
but-
not been a Q&A with Portman. I was like, let's see like what she says about this, and it was just so shallow.
It's just-
I don't know if it's leave worthy. I mean, it's you're curious enough. Once we get to Portman, we can talk about like Jude Law's character.
But she's stuck
is
in a hotel
charismatic
the
as well.
entire time.
But
Like,
they
I was,
are just kind of.
I was
humping
feeling
around.
claustrophobic. I'm like, this movie is not. The focus is so narrow of it, like both in the space occupied and just what it was saying. Like, I felt like it was just dirty, empty provocation with this terrorist
Yeah,
shit.
it felt gross. It was.
And then we're
Felt a
just
little
we're just
dirty.
watching her flail around like with her Staten Island accent. I'm like, well, this looks like it was fun for Natalie to
Exactly,
do this.
exactly. That's what
But
I'm
is it
saying.
fun to watch?
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was a great. I mean, for an actor, it's a performance where you can be kind of all over the place.
It can be manic.
And she can draw on her life as a celebrity and kind of do all these things. But when it comes down to watching it, it's
a fucking slog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she reunites with her daughter, Portman has like a freak out at a restaurant, and then as they're walking away, Dafoe comes back in and just like fills in all the shit we should have seen between them. As we're watching the backs of them walk away, she's like, she wanted to tell her mother that she had had her first sexual experience. She wanted to say this. She wanted to say that. It's like, well, then let's see the fucking scene. Like, what are you doing? And I get that it's like, oh, well, it's all about Celeste, but you punt with that VO. I don't know. Again, like some people love this movie, but it was like I was having an allergic reaction to it, and I don't know
Yeah.
why. I was ready to be into it.
I think there was a salad dragon.
Was there?
In the sped up sex scene between Jude Law
Oh, yeah.
they're doing drugs and
Yeah.
and then there's a dissolve out of or like there's a dissolve I think away
Yes.
from it.
There's like a freeze frame on Jude Law's like, woozy fucked up face, and then it dissolves out of it. Like,
Yeah.
Well, he was riffing this director is riffing like Coppola, or not Coppola, Kubrick twice.
Yes.
'Cause the
Yeah.
opening echoes that Shining opening. It had an open road with an ambulance, and then the credits
Yeah.
started rolling,
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and then now with the second one where it's like, of course he's gonna do the Droog having sex scene sped up.
to what end? It's empty. It
Did
just
they have
feels
sex right there?
hollow.
They had sex together there, or was that a
Well,
joke?
she
propositioned
It was implied.
She
Yeah.
took drugs and
I'll
she's
let you
like,
fuck me when we're high.
I'll let you fuck me
it
a
was
little.
So flat.
He's like, I don't know
It
if we
was
should be doing
so
this.
flat.
And like Jude Law's character was like nothing.
Yeah.
Like he was
just a showbiz agent. Like,
That
hey,
was it.
Are you guys good? You guys cool?
good? You guys good? Yeah.
Yeah,
You want
he
some
had
drugs?
Played that fine.
He had
though. He wasn't
had
terrible.
no fat to chew. He had no scenery to chew. It's like there's no audition scene in that movie. Like it's just all flat.
Yeah, like his performance and Natalie's performance were fine, I guess. But what is it in service of?
yeah.
Like she's wondering along with the audience, like, do I owe my entire career to tragedy? Like it keeps haunting me. I made a deal with the devil or whatever. And we cap it off with the finale chapter, which is her big show, which I thought was shot like so pedestrian.
I mean, let's
Yeah.
just
And it
stop.
goes on
Yeah.
forever. It's
And
like a
it's-
5
it's
song.
pretty flat.
I mean,
Sia did the song.
I hate to talk about her body here, but I mean, like, why not a little? The director go to her and be like, we're gonna do some padding on this. We're gonna do some pads, make her look.
The outfits,
epic,
no,
you know?
the outfits were weird
She
for
looked scrawny
for
and
how
something. Just-
how big of a star she was supposed to be and how big of a spectacle this was. The show was chintzy, and
Yeah.
they could have hidden those scenes. Though I realize that there's a budget, and I think the director in the Q&A afterwards said that they shot it in like a day or two,
Yeah.
2 days maybe. And you can hide that, like flare the lens or like diffuse
Well,
it.
he was
or-
like shooting like the LED or like the jumbotron.
Yeah.
and it was weird. And he dedicates the movie to Jonathan Demme. So my interpretation was he was trying to do like stop making sense.
Well,
But
it
it's
feels-
not.
it feels
The
like
music
that
is
now,
not
It's
there.
not the same. It's
Well,
not there.
Sia, I mean, you guys don't think the music is good at all? Like Sia's music?
I mean,
it's
I'm
easy
No,
sure
the music is serviceable.
It's
Like
fine.
it's fine,
Yeah,
but like, what is
Well,
the
that's the hard
point of
part.
this movie? And it's like trying to say something about tragedy.
It's not
and
like
pain.
Purple
It's
Rain
like-
where like every song is so different and like interesting. Like it was all just pop ether to me. Like
Yeah.
watching her after all that we've seen her go through, kind of, acting like everything was fine and singing robotically. Like there was no tension to that. Like maybe she can't even stand up right before the show. And even in the Q&A, Natalie was like, I asked, should I show any of that in my performance?
Yeah,
and
'cause it would be there.
And the director was like, no, this is the most fantastic performance you've ever given. Play it like that.
It was
It's like,
shot
what?
shit.
So if you're going to show 5 songs, maybe have her start out a little shaky and then have it be triumphant. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
But even still, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty
what's
flat.
the point
It's
of
pretty-
any of
It's
it?
pretty flat.
It's kind
And
of a
then-
sketch of an idea. Dave, does your love for Portman, is it
No,
still
it's not.
there?
It's not. Yeah, what
think that's the only thing
I
carrying
think
me through the
in the
movie.
Q&A, my love for Portman came right back.
Okay.
because she
was smart.
She was smart. She
Yes.
she was.
Smiley.
But my love for the director went down even more
Yeah.
because he did not. I mean, he's a child actor. I think he was in Mysterious Skin, and then he did a movie called Childhood of a Leader that no one's seen. And and so anyway, but he was not articulate about what he was going
No,
for.
he was like, I started with
That
the
was
school
frustrating.
shooting idea, and then I just kind of went from there. I'm
He's
like,
like, I had
yeah, you fucking did. You fucking
That's
just,
when we're sitting here,
you
yeah.
just wandered through it, empty provocations, like pulling at random strings, seeing if we get a reaction.
Yeah.
And some people are falling for it.
I did want an audience Q&A because I think some people would ask some pointed questions.
No, people would have asked about Star Wars.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
I
there
saw
was-
some
That's
Star
true.
Wars.
There was
I
some
saw guys with
creepy.
Star Wars.
people
They
do that.
actually, when the Q&A was over, they actually told us to stay seated so they
Yeah.
could spirit her
So
away.
Queen
Yeah.
Amidala
She was
could fucking leave
and as they were
safely.
shuffling her out, there were psychos like shouting shit at her as if
Yeah.
like,
We love
that's
you, Natalie!
as if that's
Yeah.
appropriate. Like,
Yeah.
she's gonna respond.
Yeah, you're right.
She has to deal with that. I'd like to
Super
see
scary.
the Vox Lux where it's an actress having to deal with those guys. Maybe there's a theater shooting or something. I don't know. Or just don't even make the movie. Like, I don't know. Very few movies have rubbed me wronger than this one has. I think it's my least favorite movie of the year.
Wow.
That's worse than 1517 to Paris.
Yeah, because at least
No
15
way.
to 17, you laugh at how bad some of it is.
I think back fondly on 1517 because it's so bad. I think back on this and I want to vomit. There's nothing funny about that.
It's pretty
Yeah.
gross. It's pretty gross.
So I don't know. That said,
It's
Bishki,
some bones.
you probably liked it.
No. I definitely had. It's not. My love for Natalie is not diminished,
Sure,
but
sure.
it's not her fault.
It's not. She just wanted to. She just wanted to play like a pop star.
Yeah.
Like that's all she wanted
But
to do.
I thought outside of the problems that we've mentioned, I thought it did have some cool visuals, and the cinematography I thought was good throughout, mostly with some exceptions. The ambition, even though it went nowhere. I was very bored with the last 5 pop songs that they threw at me, but I'll give it like 1.5 bone.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Brother Nathan? Brother Nathan, you enjoyed this movie. You must have.
Well, no, a lot of my thoughts echo brother Bishki. I feel like it was visually. There were some moments that were visually arresting for me, and I was like, oh, there's a good film in here somewhere. I kept saying there's a good film. There's a good film with this behind the scene musician. Something with that. Something about the struggle. They cocked it all up with all the bullet and the selling your soul to the devil kind of thing. I thought she was kind of like a Fran Drescher when in those scenes. That's what we're getting. Fran Drescher smacking the table, needing white wine like right in the center of the movie.
Yep.
And then having these 5 Sia songs where she's just doing like aerobics. Like
It
YMCA.
is. It feels like aerobics.
And it's shot in a master where you see her whole frame.
That
I was
master
just
shot.
Like, give her a costume
shot.
that builds her out like a superhero, or give her something that's you just don't see that. It didn't read as.
It looked like she was opening for like Tony Robbins
Pink
or
or
something.
something.
It
I'm
was
trying
like
to,
a motivational speaker opening act.
But oh my god! The like you mentioned the poster, the ad campaign, and the whole sell of the movie drew me in. I was like with Portman, Jude Law. I was like, oh, this is good.
I think it's
There's
a great
good pedigree.
poster.
It is kind of a great shot of her, just gaga, beautiful, and what we got was a sketch. It wasn't quite fully formed from the director. So maybe he'll have something more. I'm not gonna look him up. I'm not gonna follow his name, but I didn't find enough time. Portman, the cast. I give it a 1.5 again.
Bone and a
Bone and a
half.
half for me, yeah.
Bone and a half. Brother Lucas.
Yeah, this was a real tough one for me because there was an old lady in front of us who walked out midway through.
She
and
did.
She never came back, and I almost
I was
wanted
jealous.
Noted
to
that.
follow her out and give you guys the peace sign in the dark. Just peace, like, I'll see you later. 'Cause
No,
I
Portman was
drove
after.
separate. But Portman was there. Yeah, the writer-director Brady Corbet was there. I was like, okay, let's see what they have to say. And I'd seen the trailer. I kind of sort of knew what it was going in, and I was interested. I was like, wow, Natalie Portman playing tough, Natalie Portman playing mean. Like, this is going to be interesting. Like, this is going to be good because she does have.
She always commits.
Gravitas, yeah, she's got fire. Like, she's good. She's dramatic. She's solid. Like, I don't love her. I'm not like a Natalie Portman super fan. But, like, the only movie that matters to me is Leon the Professional, like, just the U.S. theatrical version that I grew up with. Like, that just is all I really know her from. Not even the prequels or anything else, really.
Well, aren't you cool?
She's magnificent.
And for the record, I hated Annihilation, but
we got lovers, we got
my
haters.
big problem with this movie, besides it just being pretentious and unfocused and misguided and all this stuff, is it's a bait and switch. Like, I expected yes, like not a big budget, like we're traveling the globe or the world, but like, yeah, maybe the movie starts at her apartment or her penthouse.
Maybe she leaves the hotel.
Then she goes to the hotel. Then she goes to the stadium where the show's. Like, you move it around, you keep it kind of flowing, but it all takes place in 24 hours. Like, I thought it was all going to be like real time or one day, and her daughter shows up and they're estranged. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. I've been on tour, and then it's like she's finding like I thought it was going to be more of like a docudrama, psychodrama, satire, commenting on the culture of celebrity and showing us genuine, authentic, backstage moments.
That's what it thinks it's doing.
But it's not, because if in a 2-hour running time, you spend an hour with this young version of her, like through the school shooting, like through her recovery, through her press conference where she sings a really beautiful, awesome Sia song, and hey, that's great, it's a great moment, but it's not enough. And then it's like her in the recording studio, and then we're showing it like in real time, and Jude Law is giving her a pep talk, and it doesn't end. Like, it keeps going and going and going. So that finally, when it cuts to like present day, and there's like no transition, there's no, it's like you said, it's like these stupid fucking book chapters that you can use if it means something, but if it's just like you're just throwing them up there and giving us a quote of dialogue that we're gonna like see, then fuck it. So the second half didn't pay off for me. I was really hoping once we got to Natalie as the Gaga character, there would be sparks, there would be fireworks, there would be like these dramatic audition scene moments that like leave the hair on the back of your neck standing up. And there's nothing. Like, there is utterly, like, even the one scene that they had, like, there was 2 scenes they had. There was the diner scene, and then there was the press conference scene. Yeah. And it's like, oh boy, like,
put my wet wine in a
like
cup.
they come here to play. You set the table. You've given them a stage. Like the spotlight is on. Let them go. And instead, it's just like this half-assed, like sputtering, and it's like it's not dramatic, it's not funny, it's
How
not
many bones though?
Revelatory.
I
gave it 1 bone for like the semblance of the idea as Natalie Portman as Gaga, but she's a bitch. Period. Like, that should have been the movie. And how you fuck that up is just, it shows you that you got your head so far up your own ass, Brady Corbet, that you blew it. And this will not stand the test of time, and no one's gonna be talking about this.
He's calling you out, Brady.
And you had it and you blew it.
1 bone from LT. It's a woof. It's a fucking woof. I don't care if you think the cinematography is great. It's in service of nothing. This is a dark, empty, disgusting movie. Fuck Vox Lux.
FUX.
I got nothing more to say. We've covered that shit.
Done.
It's my least favorite movie.
Dishes are done, man.
Dishes are so done. Love and Lux to y'all. I'm curious to see if you hit us up on Instagram.
Get us in those comments if you disagree or agree.
If you have other thoughts on Vox Lux, I want to be turned around.
Come at us, bro.
I don't want to give a movie where Natalie is committing herself to a role a woof. I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt you, Vox Lux.
But there's no climax, and you're right. Like, when the ending of your movie is 3 or 4 pop songs in real time with her just doing a half-ass, like, auto-tune, like, lip-sync to them, and there's no technical direction or choreography or any kind of production value, like, it's just kind of like, it is like a student feature, a glorified short.
He said it.
Pulled it out.
He dropped the student feature. All right, y'all. That's Vox Lux, y'all. Love and light. We'll catch you next time. Peace. Queen Amidala, I love you.
Queen Amidala.
Send my poster.
Queen Amidala.